As more and more people are becoming aware of the sexual indoctrination of children in school, they're starting to speak out about it. And today I bring you a protest against just that in Vancouver.
We could opt out of prayer, but we can't opt out of this SOGI 1, 2, 3.
Go f*** yourself, Rebel Nudes. Go f*** yourself.
A clown meeting he just invited me to. How interesting.
We were doing lockdown drills and victimizing and traumatizing them, and parents were notified. We were doing things in classrooms that were harming 5-year-olds, and teachers today are still not doing anything because they're hiding under this.
You guys are completely f***ed. No, you're not. You're attacking people. You're attacking people. You're attacking trans people who have done nothing wrong to you. Protecting them from what? Knowing about the fact that not everybody's the same? You're a bunch of bigots. F*** you all. F*** you all.
Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, about to bring you another report to add on to our slew of reports at stopclassroomgrooming.com. That's our special website you can go to update yourself, educate yourself, and also send off reports to educate others about the sexual indoctrination that is happening in schools. Right now I'm standing in front of the BC Teachers Federation in Vancouver because a pop-up protest has been organized. A small group of people have come to protest the BCTF to say enough is enough with the gender ideology that they say is being pushed on schools. The BCTF represents 50,000 and more of the public education teachers and their students. They say they do so with strong advocacy. And behind me, with the amount of flags, you can see that one of the focus is to support pride equality. But is that being pushed too much in schools? We'll hear what these protesters have to say. This is Cindy and Cheryl from Justice for Childhood Innocence. Now, you guys are sort of an organic group that is just forming right now, and you put this pop-up protest together in front of the BCTF. Why this location?
Because a lot of the curriculum and everything comes from the BCTF. Their calendar, they decide what happens in all of the schools. And you'll notice we actually have their calendar over here and what happens every single day. My kids are still in school, so I actually use that calendar to see when not to send my kids to school for certain days in a silent protest.
Well, that's actually interesting. I'll have to look at that calendar, maybe do a whole report on it, because that's one of the issues many of the parents concerned about sexual indoctrination in school have, is that they feel like they can't opt their children out of these things. What do you make of that?
I think it's absolutely disgusting, actually, that you can't opt out. We could opt out of prayer, but we can't opt out of this SOGI 1, 2, 3.
Like there's apartments? Like there's tenants that actually live in the building. In the upper floors and the second and third floors. So we need to make sure that this is kept. I have no problem what you're doing. Totally love it.
Now you're holding signs that I would summarize as parental rights signs. Why?
Well, I'm a parent. I have a 15-year-old son. In the last 2 years, I, as a parent, have been speaking to the school and the principal about what's been going on in the schools with the dirty books, the pronouns, and I've been ignored. And I pulled my son out of school, and I've had enough. And now, they're pushing towards no parental rights. It's quite obvious with the BCTF ignoring us. I've been to school board meetings. I've been ignored. I've been kicked out in silence. So this is the only way to protest and speak up for parental rights.
Go f*** yourself, Rebel Nudes. Go f*** yourself.
A clown meeting he just invited me to. How interesting.
Well, the BC Teachers Federation is the one that is bringing in the SOGI curriculum, which is the sexual orientation, gender identity. If you go onto their website, they have the laid out teacher curriculum right from elementary to high school, and it is a sexualized grooming curriculum. There's nothing in it that embraces inclusion, diversity. It's all about embracing this one LGBTQ community. And that's it. I don't see them embracing Mexicans, Canadians, Chinese, Japanese, any other ethnicities. So that is the agenda that the BCTF is pushing. I believe they are connected to the human rights. Human rights is also protecting them. So it makes it really hard to get this out of schools because of human rights. We're supposed to embrace this, and I don't understand it because this is sexual in nature. This is a sexual nature, and what adults choose to do in their privacy is their private. Why are we pushing a sexual agenda on kids?
Pedophiles here, BCTF, stop protecting the pedos. Police protect pedos. Stop protecting the pedos.
Today is history in the making because moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas like myself are here to give a voice to the children that are too young to understand what's really going on. And it's the sexualization and the indoctrination of our children. And that to me is dead wrong. It shouldn't be that way. We should have a voice. They seem to forget that the constituents should have a voice, and they never do. They never have a voice to vote on these issues. And it seems like it's always being shoved down our throat. Well, it's time for a change. Independent BC is here to do that, where we educate and support for the independent voting of independent candidates in the constituents, where the people get to choose their person to represent them. We are not affiliated with any political party whatsoever. We're here to educate and support for the candidacy of independent candidates.
Well, speaking of being able to choose, we've seen in school board meetings, people's mics being, muted over this issue, people being banned, groups like Action for Canada being banned. You're a mom that gathers with other moms to champion this particular issue. Why do you think there is so much opposition against what you're protesting for?
Well, I'd like to say that people just aren't aware of what's going on, but at the school board level, they are aware. And I just think it's about separating, like I've experienced firsthand how the school comes between parents and kids and trying to separate that family-based value. And it's just, I don't know what the pushback is. If parents knew and people knew about what they were really showing, the pornographic books and the discussions that are enabled in the classrooms, then I don't think anybody would really oppose it.
All right, so you're holding a sign that says protect the tomboys. Why?
I grew up being a huge tomboy. I played sports, hockey, I fist fought, I swore like a trucker, and if the only trusting adults in my life was pressuring me, saying I could have been a boy, I probably would have taken the option at that point when I was young and I didn't know. I ran around with my shirt off way too long, probably. I just wanted to be like my brothers. So this is huge to me, to be honest. I'm a woman elevator mechanic in a man's trade. And I still am so proud to be a woman. I am a mother. This is huge to me.
Well, you're right. There is a disproportionate amount of girls being medically transitioned. Now, I've got an interesting question, at least it's interesting to me. There seems to be, aside from those of Muslim faith who are joining this fight, there seems to be an overlap in people who opposed vaccine mandates and lockdowns that are also standing for this. Why do you think that is?
I think these people have just woken up. They're seeing that what's being pushed from the government, from the pharmaceutical side of this, how much money is the government making mutilating our children? Hormone blockers. I came here to support them because I do my own activism around women that are being affected by this.
When I was working in the school board, we were victimizing your kids. We were doing lockdown drills and victimizing and traumatizing them, and parents were notified. We were doing things in classrooms that were harming 5-year-olds, and teachers today are still not doing anything because they're hiding under this. They're hiding under human rights. And the human rights is protected by the LGBTQ community. If the gay community is listening, this is not about you. This is not about you. We love everyone. This is about children. And the police are more interested in protecting these guys who are victimizing children.
You have no children.
You guys are
come on.
You guys are completely No, you're not. You're attacking people. You're attacking people. You're attacking trans people who have done nothing wrong to you. Protecting them from what? Knowing about the fact that not everybody's the same? You're a bunch of bigots. F*** you all. you all.
Unlike the state-preferred media that refuses to tell the public the other side of the story with gender ideology in schools, which includes showing people what is actually in the books that parents are taking issue with, Rebel News has fearlessly reported on this issue. We can't do any of that without you. Please go to stopclassroomgrooming.com to spread the word and to chip in a few bucks to cover our boots on the ground reports about this issue.